Hi everyone. Um, so this is the second video for John 1:14, um, and I'd like to uh, look at some of the commentary for this verse and sort of look at some uh, scriptural references um, that might give us some more insight into this verse. Um, The first video is actually longer than it should have been because I forgot to uh, do it in two parts as I usually do. So I just figured I'd just use this video to kind of go a little bit deeper. Um, so one of the things that struck me, um, right, as you understand the first part of the verse, um, and the Word was made flesh, right? That means that the Word, which was Christ, embodied by Christ, he, um, through Christ, uh, lived in the earth. Um, the Word became man. God himself became a man in the form of Jesus Christ. Um, so you understand that. Uh, but if you come down, and it's this last part here, right? And we'll look at the verse again. It says, the glory, well, let me start here. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth, right? Now, one of the scriptures that they reference is Exodus 34, verse 6. And if you look at that, I'm actually going to start reading from, let me see. I'm actually going to start reading at the beginning of that chapter. And I think this is going to be, I'm going to focus on this, and then I'm going to come back up here and talk a little bit about the glory part, because I thought that was interesting too. So, this is Exodus 34. This is when there is a new copy of the covenant being made. This is after the Ten Commandments have been given to Israel. It says, Then the Lord told Moses, Chisel out 2 stone tablets like the first ones. I will write on one of them the same words that were on the tablets you smashed. Be ready in the morning to climb up Mount Sinai and present yourself to me on the top of the mountain. No one else may come with you. In fact, no one is to appear anywhere on the mountain. Do not even let the flocks or herds gaze near the mountain. So Moses chiseled out 2 tablets of stone like the first ones. Early in the morning, he climbed Mount Sinai as the Lord had commanded him, and he carried the 2 stone tablets in his hands. Then the Lord came down in a cloud and stood there with him, and he called out his own name, Yahweh. The Lord passed in front of Moses, calling out, Yahweh, the Lord, the God of compassion and mercy. I am slow to anger and filled with unfailing love and faithfulness. I lavish unfailing love to 1,000 generations. I forgive iniquity, rebellion, and sin, but I do not excuse the guilty. I lay the sins of the parents upon their children and grandchildren. The entire family is affected, even children in the 3rd and 4th generations. Moses immediately threw himself to the ground and worshipped. And he said, O Lord, if that is true, that I have found favor with you, then please travel with us. Yes, this is a stubborn and rebellious people, but please forgive our iniquity and our sins. Claim us as your own special possession. The Lord replied, "Listen, I am making a covenant with you in the presence of all your people. I will perform miracles that have never been performed anywhere in all the earth or in any nation, and all the people around you will see the power of the Lord, the awesome power I will display for you. But listen carefully to everything I command you today. Then I will go ahead of you and drive out the Amorites, Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites." And I'm going to stop there. I read up to verse 11 there. Notice how he talked about his own characteristics, right? And that's what's important to recognize is that what we see in this verse is this sense of continuity in God. The idea that the Holy Trinity has always operated in unison and has always remained the same. It is not Christ was not an anomaly, right? He was already present, and his characteristics were already being displayed by the Father before his introduction to the earth, right? And so before he was introduced to the earth, and so it's interesting that you see the same characteristics, those same traits of God, even in the Old Testament. And you also see the promise of God that he would perform miracles and do all of these miraculous things. And that is what you see when you look at, when they're referring to glory in this verse. And one of the scriptures they reference, as you can see, is Matthew 17, verse 2. And I'm going to read some of that to you. Well, actually, let me see. Was that? No, it wasn't that one. It wasn't that one. It was, that's not the one I want to look at. I want to look at John 2:11, actually. Yeah, so this is the first miracle that Jesus performed was turning water into wine. And what he said after he had done that, he said, and actually it's not, he didn't say this specifically, but this is what the writer of John said. This miraculous sign at Cana in Galilee was the first time Jesus revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. And so you see that when it's talking about glory, it's talking about the divinity of God, right? And it's because of that divinity that he is able to perform miracles and do things that are so extraordinary. And of course, we know that one of the reasons he did that was to prove that he was who he claimed to be. And so I just want to give you just point out a couple things. Looking at John 1:14, and I hope that it speaks to your spirit.